The big dogs are there.
What's the name of your band, and can you all introduce yourselves?
We were called the Uglies until yesterday, and I was Moose, and now my name is Rodriguez.
Hello, I'm Jono.
I'm Ben.
I'm Belly.
I am Ty.
Nice one. Could you please tell me the dark origin tale of the Uglies? How did you guys form, and lineup changes and all that sort of stuff?
When did that happen?
2015 we started.
It was after we had that jam, that hardcore band jam with Lewis and Co.
That was like 3 years beforehand.
Was it?
Yes. One follows the other, you know? Like,
Why don't we just let the person with that has rotten their brain with weed tell the story?
All right, so oh, sorry, you meant you. Oh, okay,
Good start.
My sister gave me this book, and it was about like indie bands from the 80s and 90s. And I was reading the Fugazi chapter, and Ian McKay was like, I don't use any pedals or anything, I plug straight into my amp because, like, you know, it just sounds good. And I was like, that's so sick. That's so mad. So I was like, I'm gonna do a band where I just plug into my amp and
turn up,
and I was like, I'm not gonna do any like palm muting or anything. I had all these like Uglies rules that I was gonna follow that I
good to have a manifesto, you
well,
know?
then I abandoned all of them eventually, but I was like, I'll get Ty, he's rowdy, I'll get him to sing, and then we jam some stuff. I think that's how it started.
Sounds right.
Nothing really that interesting. It's like, do you want to do a band? Yes, all right, we'll do a band.
Who was in the band at the time, though? Because I feel like we were living our separate lives.
Well, we didn't really have a bass player. I played bass on the demo, and then I was like, hey Darcy, you should play this like show with us, and he was like, sure, dude.
He lived in Brisbane at the time, so it was a commitment.
Where was the story going?
The band members. So Darcy played bass for the first couple of shows. But
No, he only played the first show, and
really?
then
It was just us three for ages.
Ben joined after that. Like, because we played like Lairfest, and we played another few shows at Animal House and the Metro and stuff, and we played it. Mad Mouse, actually, where Belly used to...
Yeah. Hydro launch. Yeah, that was a cool show.
Why don't you tell us a bit about Mad Mouse? Because I don't really know anything about it.
We're talking about the band.
Yeah, but I want to know.
What was the little venue back in Adelaide?
It was a good venue.
Yeah, it was great.
Sick venue.
I thought it was quite a reasonable size, actually. Good stage. Sounded good.
We also played in an alleyway show behind Mad Mouse, which was a lot of fun as well, next to that stupid
Was Mad Mouse over there?
Scumfest or whatever.
There was Scumfest was on and we were trying to take everyone, all their patrons.
Yeah. Yeah, so we played outside
At
Scumfest.
that point.
It was?
Yeah, I think it was still going, yeah.
Yeah.
Does that adequately answer your question?
It's up to you guys, yeah. It sounds pretty good to me.
Well, I feel like you only got
Yeah.
we
You're
were
like
only with the
2017 or
first
something.
couple of years.
Yeah.
That was 2015 and 2016.
So I was playing bass,
Yeah.
and then I got a job and decided I can't do this anymore.
Yeah, because you obviously had a different lineup for the first 12, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, we stopped doing the band after you got a job
Yeah, right.
for like a year.
Yeah.
And I don't know what happened. Like you were like, let's write some new songs.
That sounds about right.
It sounds like something you would say.
Yeah, I love
So-
writing songs.
So we wrote like 11 songs, and that's like the
First
record.
LP.
That's the record you're talking about.
Yeah.
Which is called?
Keeping Up with the Uglies. And I was like, because Ben had subbed out, I was like, hey Darcy, do you want to play bass in this again? And then I remember I sent him some demos, and like there were 2 that I sent, and he was like, these are shit.
Oh, what were they? Do you remember what
I
was?
think they were Dumb Old Cunts and Millions of Leeches.
He's not that wrong.
And we had this like big argument about it, and he was like, I don't even know if I like the band. And I was just like, what the fuck, cunt? Like you said you would do it.
Didn't he hate that song because it sounded like Rancid?
There was one, yeah.
Just one.
But then, yeah, there was one that sounded like
They
Rancid.
all sound like Rancid. Also, what's wrong with sounding like Rancid?
I didn't say there was anything wrong with it.
Darcy's not even to defend himself.
That's my Tim Armstrong impression.
That was an appalling impression.
Let us sit with you for a bit.
Let him. Anyway, we like patched that up. And yeah, we did that record, and then we played in support of that the next year.
Yeah.
With varying degrees of interpersonal success. And then the band fell apart again. And then 2 years later, I think you again were like, hey.
No. That was you, because we were like, let's get grant money and do a new
No.
record.
Me? That's not what happened.
Oh my god.
You started a group chat with me and Ty, and you were like, let's write some new songs and play some shows.
Wow.
Dead said it was you.
That is mind blowing to me.
Yeah.
The foolhardiness that I had back then.
Hey,
What was I thinking?
this is the problem. You can't sneak anything by me, because I remember what happened. That's exactly what happened.
See, my brain.
I even remember where I was.
Oh, my brain is so cooked from weed that I can't even tell if you're right now. But I'm sure you are.
I'm not making it up. I was just outside North Melbourne train station, and I was like, "Are you fucking serious? All right, let's do it."
We wrote some hits.
Well, we played those 2 shows. We played the one with Glue.
Oh yeah, that was.
That was Belly's first show in the band. Why don't you tell us about that show? How'd you feel? Were you like, these fucking cunts?
What was the comment your
Oh,
friend
then
made?
and now, really. Hasn't changed. Oh
Oh,
yeah, no, it was a sick show. Great first show.
Yeah, it was heaps of fun.
and then we played.
Ubik launch.
Yeah, we played the Ubik launch, and Ty busted a hole in the stage. Ty was still singing at that point.
That's right, I did too.
If you're watching this, The Curtain, it wasn't us. Even I just admitted that it was. Also, Ben's a war criminal.
Just throw that in there and like, all right, moving on.
Now that's the point where I was like, hey, it'd be really fun if we got a grant, because
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
my friend's band Hooper Crescent, they were like recording in Woodend or something, and I was like, whoa, that sounds fun. Like we could go record in the bush. And I remember talking to my parents about it, and they were like, that's a stupid idea. You won't get anything done. You just sit out there and like fuck around. And I was like, yeah, you're right. Anyway, we
Would
ended
have
up,
been nice. But, you
we
know,
ended up getting the grant, and then the pandemic happened, like literally straight after. I
Like a
remember.
week after.
Yeah. No, because we had that big practice at Sunset where we like demoed everything, like with drums, and we demoed vocals and guitars and shit. And then the next week we were in lockdown.
I put the hex on the band.
Yeah.
Like I got to Adelaide and I messaged the band group chat and I was like, hey guys, I've been like detained at the airport because like someone on the plane has this disease, and everyone. I wanted to play the prank on Ben, but Ben wasn't reading the chat. Everyone else like bought a hook, line, and
No, hang on.
single.
I knew that wasn't true.
I was gonna say.
We all knew
it wasn't true.
Yeah, we were like fake news.
So the 2 months.
You was not. You did not.
I was so annoyed because I was in the car driving down the expressway and I was like, motherfucker, like I can't turn around now because I'm in this straight line to the practice space.
Yeah, I messaged Billy privately being like, I'm actually at the airport, can you come get me? And she was like, yeah. So yeah, like I basically consigned the band through Karma for the next 2 years to like be absolutely hamstrung by COVID. So why doesn't someone else take over? If you can remember like what happened a week ago, let alone 2 years.
Nope. No, you're doing really well. Yeah.
I think you got
We
it.
just sit here and
We're
nod.
good.
We're almost at the present. Yeah.
We're up to 2020
And
now,
I guess we
right?
spent 2 years trying to write stuff via correspondence, basically.
No, we did the first recording session, and then like that was just after like the first massive load of lockdowns. We did a massive bed recording session, so we did bass and drums for the new album, and then like lockdown kicked in again. So
I think we did all of the guitars that time as well.
no, we redid them again later.
No, we laid the guitars down with the intention of coming back and re-recording them. But then I think when we eventually came back, we
You
were
just
like,
kept
"Fuck
them?
that, they're pretty good.
No, sick. The votes
Close
are in.
enough's good enough, sort of situation.
But yeah, because
There was
lockdown,
two-
there was a massive amount of gaps between like the first session and then finishing it off.
Yeah, like the last session was like the start of 2022.
Yeah, that's
Like there was one in 2020 at the end, like December, and there was one at the start of 2021. And then like COVID kicked off again for all of 2021. Like you guys were fine, but
Yeah, you
Victoria
guys
was.
We were living it up, going to the beach, hanging out with
Oh,
friends,
it's fucking horrible, mate.
take away food.
Yeah.
It was great.
There wasn't really much.
Working from home. It was great.
Well, can you at least comment on the experience of COVID being like a South Australian person, because it was like completely different here, obviously.
It was a holiday. Yeah, for those of us working in,
really,
working
as
from
bad
home.
as it sounded here, it really wasn't that bad.
For, I think if you,
Anyway. The band, basically, we.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you.
this is her job in the band.
Well, I'm trying to get someone else to say something, because I feel like it's just like me going.
If you like Billy started talking, then you just cut it off. It's fine.
Anyway, go on, Bez.
Well, that's it, really. We recorded through COVID.
Yeah.
Had a bunch of shows cancelled on us. Then shit opened up again. We played a bunch of shows.
Yeah.
It was sick.
Yeah.
Here we are.
It was very sad.
Alright, how many questions you got for us? Because we could be here for
We
the next
are. Can we
fucking
go?
3
Yeah.
days.
That was that question was who's in the band and what's the history of the band. Oh my god.
Oh, we didn't really cover why Darcy left. Like he moved to England.
Backtrack a bit.
And that's why. that's the reason, really.
Darcy graduated uni and wanted to get into film. And, no, I'm kidding. Let's move on. What's the next question?
All right. No,
That is what happened.
Love you, Darcy.
it's a good answer, though. Good start.
Jesus.
20 more to go.
We're not done.
Yeah, 200 more to go.
I can't wait to watch the end, and Lance has just edited that
Down to a breezy,
10-minute diatribe.
breezy
Like
45 seconds.
30 seconds. It's like, I moved.
The belly part.
Yeah.
We recorded.
We recorded and played some gigs. It was sick.
Since the majority of the band is based in South Australia, how do you collaborate and create music? Can you tell me about the long distance creative process?
It's hard
Yeah, you take this one, John.
because, like, I don't know. Most of the time, like, we'll come to the band with a song or an idea that's pretty fleshed out, but it's hard to like generate that as a band because you're not all in the same room together. So we had to do it via email and SoundCloud demos and stuff, and so recording stuff at home and then being like, oh, this sort of works. But after we did that first recording session, the bed tracks, I think we were thinking about it much more critically and being like, okay, well, we can do this to like make it slightly better. And we were doing that for the year before that as well, probably. I don't know. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I've done it before. It's pretty tricky.
Yeah.
You get used to it.
Just long distance shit.
Yeah.
I think it really kind of only works for a certain kind of person, and that kind of person is weirdos like you and I.
Yeah, there's like no way I'd rather spend my weekend than just fucking
Yeah.
sitting in a room writing stuff, you know? Like, that's my favourite fucking thing to do.
Yeah, I don't particularly like going to jam and writing that way. Like, I would rather sit at home by myself and kind of work out the whole song that way.
Yeah.
And then kind of like come with the skeleton of the song to practice. So, you know, me being interstate, it wasn't the hardest thing for me, but I think the rest of the band found it really difficult because I wasn't there to be like, this is how this works together and so on. So it made that process like pretty protracted.
And there are a few riffs on the record where you probably listen back to them thinking, it's not quite how I wrote it, but you know, because we're just sort of listening to this shitty demo version without you present. Oh, we had a couple of practices with you sitting on Zoom on the laptop, that was funny.
That was fun.
Sick.
Yeah, I just feel that kind
Not singing along, just like sitting there doing paperwork.
Doing
and
work.
stuff. Yeah.
Checking in.
I said to my partner at the time, just watching band practice, and she'd be like, what the okay. Well, what else can I say about that?
I don't know, how the sausage is made of songs gets a bit boring, I
Well,
think.
I'm-
Because it's just demoing stuff and rewriting it and being like, that sounds cool. And it all changes when you like plug in amps and turn them up real loud. As
Yeah,
well.
for
like,
sure.
Everything totally changes after
Yeah,
that bit.
yeah, and like band dynamic and
Yeah.
just all that sort of shit. Eh? You've definitely moved into more of a satirical direction with the band, which I think a lot of bands are afraid to do. Could you tell me more about how this happened and themes behind the music?
Can I guess?
Yeah, I think I got that.
Not being...
Would
not
love to
being-
hear from the back row.
Not being, you know, a primary songwriter or lyricist. Moose writes everything, or for the most part. Jono, a few songs, but
Here and
Moose
there.
mostly. Is it a sign of growing up? I mean, keeping up with the Uglies is like very fuck the world, fuck these certain groups, fuck these people. Whereas like the new songs are about stop taking my food, like that's my meal.
Babies on leashes,
Yeah,
that
like-
sort of thing.
I definitely feel like the first album had like hints of that.
Yeah,
Oh,
I think
so
so.
Like, it was
Don't get me
definitely
wrong.
on the way of moving in that
Don't
direction.
get me wrong.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of what I always wanted to do with it. I always kind of wanted it to be like more sarcastic than like angry because you know, that's kind of how I process frustration more than just being like,
Yeah. Because it reminds me heaps of Dead Kennedys, for sure.
Yeah,
That's just my interpretation, and I fucking love the Dead Kennedys.
First
That's a great
record,
compliment.
like the drums and the mix and everything, we were like, oh, let's go for a Dead Kennedys vibe. The one that you mixed and shit. We were like, hell
And
yeah.
people hate on the Dead Kennedys now. It's not cool
Really?
like the Dead Kennedys.
it's not.
Hey, come on!
I know, right? They're fucking great band. They're a great band.
I don't give a shit if like you don't like the best punk bands, then suck in.
Your loss.
Yeah. More for me.
Yeah, they're probably like my favorite band. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I think we've always been pretty sarcastic. Like even the football stuff was like looking at Australia more than looking at football.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like that's a big part. And we incorporate pop culture heaps into it, like keeping up with the Kardashians on the first album and shit. That's all over there. I don't know, we're all pretty, me and you in particular, watch a lot of movies and shit and engage with the tabloids.
is that an adequate response?
No, it's good.
I think that covers it.
Yeah, I just think a lot of bands are afraid to sort of do that. You know, everyone's got to be there's nothing wrong with being serious, but you can't be serious all the fucking time, right?
I think bands kind of think that they have to exist within this like intellectual bubble of music, especially punk bands. It's like
Yeah, totally.
it's like we can only cover like being depressed, war, that's it.
Politics.
Yeah.
Society.
And politics and society and stuff. It's like you live in a world that's much broader than that. So why not incorporate that into your lyrics and your music and stuff? I don't know. I just never like. I can't be bothered listening to another song about like nuclear war.
Yeah, hard out. No, for sure. I love it though, but
I mean, it's sick. Like you're like, yeah.
but no, it's super refreshing.
I shouldn't say that I can't be bothered listening to it. I don't feel the need to like write it.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I suppose I sort of covered this, but bands' main influences, musical or otherwise? Movies, film, fucking television.
I think it's a pretty big like,
Capitalism?
melting pot of of things. We were like pretty
Different tastes.
different tastes in like a lot of things, music, film, all that.
Dead Kennedys is probably an intersection where we're all like, yeah, that's sick.
Yeah.
The first demo, Crucifix, I was listening to heaps of that.
Yeah,
And the YouTube video that's like got the demo on it rips off the Crucifix.
Yeah.
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 Bands like that.
Devo as well. Devo
Yeah.
are a good
Yeah,
example
yeah.
of like a punk band that does that silly
Yeah,
vibe
totally.
without it being like, you don't think of them as a silly band. You think they just do cool, silly songs. Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of, I really kind of favour like sarcastic and sort of slapstick comedy. So
Yeah.
I think like a lot of lyrical content is informed by stuff like Mad Magazine. Just shit like, just dumb shit. So it like, I think the lyrics and stuff really sort of date me as a person, like someone that's about in their mid-30s and has consumed that kind of media. I think really comes across in music.
Yeah, we've got references to John Howard and Paul Keating in our
Yeah.
songs. Like we are certainly of a certain age.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't remember what the question was. Oh, influences. Yeah. The Sex Pistols and funny stuff.
Adam Sandler movies.
Oh, yeah.
The artwork direction. I'm a big fan of this, by the way. Please tell me about it.
We should have brought Moose's therapist with us. He could have, or she, I don't know.
We could just
I've had two.
burn them through them.
I think what the main inspiration for the booklet,
Because bands don't do that as well, and that fucking shits me.
don't do what?
Have someone with the record. You know?
Well, yeah, I just kind of, I wanted it to be I wanted the record to be like pretty memorable, and I think that was the easiest way that we could do, easiest and cheapest. Well, I mean like production wise, not necessarily making it. I was with a client, and a lot of the people I work with like hoard. So he had like piles and piles and piles of old magazines, and I was looking through them one day on a shift in his like tiny apartment, which was made tinier by like all the shit that he had lying around. But he had all of these old, I think they were like Life magazines or like similar. And I was just looking through all the ads and stuff, and I was like, these are like, this is art.
Yeah, that's insane, eh? All that old shit, eh?
Yeah, it's incredible, and I was just like, this would be so cool to kind of recreate it for a insert, but I was like, I don't know anything about. At that point, I didn't know anything about graphic design because I had so much free time over COVID to fucking fill.
He slowly went insane learning.
Yeah,
That's
learning how to Photoshop.
Well, I think we all picked up weird hobbies during COVID.
Yeah, I guess that's like the short answer to that question, but I guess it's just like, I guess the Uglies universe is kind of hyper-capitalistic. Like it kind of exists in its own world, I guess, but it's just like a mirror to the world we live in.
Yeah.
Yeah. That wasn't very articulate, but I think the viewer will get what I'm saying.
It's just a sick way of presenting the lyrics as well.
Yeah.
Like the first time you showed me that Life is Boring piece, I was like I was pretty on the fence about the massive booklet at first because I was going to blow out like the cost of making this stupid thing, and then you see the finished product. It's like, what was I worried about? You know,
It's
like,
totally worth it in the end. Like,
When we saw the hard copy of it,
yeah. It's like, oh,
random.
oh, well, when fucking
I
Moose
feel
brought it
like-
around, I was blown away. I was sick.
Thanks, Lance. What were you going to say, Billy?
I was going to say, I feel like everything's, you know, you can listen to shit on the internet now, right? And it's
Yeah.
easy, so it's like
It
if
takes
you're gonna buy a
away the
record-
physical format, eh? It's,
Yeah,
it's
and it's
fucked.
like if you're going to buy a record, like it's good to have something
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you know,
Yeah.
like what?
No, like, you know, like growing up into punk and shit and like, you know, taking home like a Crass record and it's like a giant fold out fucking poster, you know, like
Sick.
that just blew my fucking mind, you know.
Actually, that the Dead Kennedys record, Fresh Fruit, it has like a big
Yeah, the big
booklet.
newspaper. With
And I think that's
Oh,
what.
plastic surgery disasters. Yeah.
Plastic surgery disasters.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
it. Yes. Yeah, I have that, and like the fucking outer sleeve is like stuck to the cardboard, so I can't take it out. But you can take the booklet out, and it looks incredible.
No, it's good. More bands need to do it, I think.
I guess like record pressing is just such a nightmare now.
Yeah.
And it's so it's so prohibitively expensive.
That's Jack White.
Yeah.
Jerk has like a whole factory put aside to press his like gimmick shit for a year. Like, come on, man.
Really?
I just, yeah, for real. I want to just press like a 12-inch LP with a cool booklet. Like,
Yeah, you'll get like bands to come in and record on like a phone box or something live to acetate. It's like, yeah, I'll make fucking 20,000 copies of this for no one to buy. It's like, why does this need to exist, man?
Meg White had the right idea. Fuck off.
I agree.
Yeah.
He's a tosser.
Get away from that guy.
And I remember reading this like Stooges reissue, and he was like, I first had Funhouse on tape cassette, my least favorite format. It's like,
Oh, tapes rule. Yeah, tapes rule.
good record though, Funhouse. It's better than anything fucking Jack White's ever done. I remember I saw the Stooges play, and then
So was this interview.
and then I saw the White Stripes play, and they played TBI, and I was just like, wow, cunt, really? Like at this show, you're just like really highlighting what a fucking hack you are.
So how did you release the album? You say you got a grant?
Yeah, we spent all the grant on recording though.
Yeah. No. But yeah, you pretty much released it independently.
Yeah, we did.
Which is so.
I didn't like put any of the fucking arts essay shit or anything that I was supposed to on the record. But they didn't
never
care.
emailed us back like about anything.
Yeah, they were like, you've got to do the stuff which says what you did and who did it. And I did all of that, and they were like, okay.
Yeah, that was it. It was like, okay, here's your money. See ya.
That was like after they gave us the money. They just like sent me a check for $3,500.
No shit.
I was stunned that we got it. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'd never applied for a grant, and I haven't since.
Yeah.
And I didn't get anyone to help me with it. I got a few letters of support from people
Yeah.
that were probably like pretty important. But other than that, it was just like, haha, this will be funny.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I
if
think
you,
it's easier to get that shit in Adelaide.
yeah, probably.
You know?
Because they're just like a band.
Yeah.
They've got songs. Fuck. All right. Here you go.
So.
Because it wasn't very much money. We weren't asking for like 10 grand. We were asking for like $3,500.
Yeah, I was like, fuck, I should ask for more.
Sorry, taxpayer. Like, you know.
Not very punk, but you know, we broke up now, so sue us.
What's the best and worst thing about Adelaide?
Should we answer this or should we let
Moose, what's the best thing about it?
Let's say commute time.
Don't say leaving.
Yeah, that's
Oh, there's literally my tongue was on my top teeth, ready to pronounce the L in leaving.
I'll get five.
No, I lived there for a long time. It's like such an easy place to live, and it's quiet,
Yeah,
and the beach is nice.
Lovely beaches.
If you live anywhere, it's close to everything.
Yeah.
15 minutes.
Yeah, I've never been to
15 minutes
Adelaide.
to the area.
Yeah.
But flip side of that, I guess, is
Also,
that
a lot of fucking cool people come from Adelaide.
Yeah.
Can I
Yeah,
just
a
say?
lot of-
They
all the best
they
people in
fucking
Melbourne.
leave,
Yeah.
but you know.
And we don't always have many bands, but I feel like when we have the good bands, they're like so much better than
there have been some.
Yeah, no, there's been some great music coming out of Adelaide, for sure.
for sure. But then if there's like a shit band, they're usually fucking shit. It's either like
What's-
really good or really shit.
What's the last really good Adelaide band though?
Not my place.
Us?
Well, we broke up yesterday, so.
I'd probably say The Wait or
Yeah, the weight was sick.
maybe even Search and Destroy.
The condos are the best at the moment. Now that we know.
Or Hydro.
Off the condos.
Hydro.
Hydro and Juice are really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to play in a band with Troy for a bit.
Oh, really?
Hi, Troy.
Let's turn this camera around. I want to ask you questions now.
Shout out to Troy.
Can you all name what was your first piece of music you've ever owned?
The Sounds of Springfield.
Sounds
CD.
Springfield.
I got when I was like, like 6 or 7. I got it very young. And then
What tracks were on it?
I was like all the songs from like the first 4 or 5 seasons.
Yeah, right.
Heaps.
Like-
Like Monorail was on
Monorail
there.
and New York's
classic.
That Away Man.
yeah.
Like all the classic hits.
Springfield is a hell of a
Songs
town.
in the key of spring.
Yeah, that's
Songs
it.
of the Kid.
Oh,
That's what it
nice.
was
Yeah,
called.
alright, sweet.
Yeah, that was my first ever CD. But the
Did
first CD I ever bought for myself
Yeah,
was Dude Ranch by Blink
nice.
from Sanity when we were on a road trip.
Does the songs in the Key of Springfield, does it have like Do the Bartman and Deep Deep Trouble and stuff, or is that like too?
It does not
I
have
think
because
it's
of Batman.
No,
It doesn't?
It's
It doesn't have to do
stuff
with
from
Batman.
like directly from.
Oh, it's from the show.
Yeah.
It's
Not,
like a soundtrack to the show.
yeah, not the cultural stuff around it.
Deep Deep Trouble's a pretty good song. Jesse Jeff, it's got a good beat, but not a great rapper.
Yes, what was your first release?
One of my friends bought me a Garbage single when I was quite young, and then I reckon my first album was Dookie,
What garbage song?
Cherry Lips.
Garbage is good. Do you still like it?
Yeah, I love that song. Yeah, I was at a sleepover and I was like, I really like this song, and then my friend was like, I've got it on CD, and I was like, I don't have any CDs. And she was like, what? And then she gave it to me.
That's sick. Good present.
It's the future of media.
I can't remember what my first CD was, but I remember cranking Natalie and Bruglier's album that had Torn on it.
That's sick.
Yeah.
Left of the Middle, is that what it's called?
Yeah. I started listening to it again a few months ago, and it was like all these songs. I was like, oh fuck, I remember this.
What a big mistake. I reckon the big mistake is better than
That's
Torn.
the hit. Yeah.
Is she Australian? Yeah.
I want to say yes.
Yeah. She was partnered with Daniel Johns for years and years from Silverchair. My first one was the Space Jam soundtrack, which has not aged well.
What's on the Space Jam soundtrack?
That R. Kelly song, I Believe I Can Fly.
I used to borrow CDs from the library and like tape them at home.
Yeah.
So I don't remember what the first thing I did with that was, but I think the first CD I owned was a Peter Coombe CD, which I may have even written about on. He's fucking big influence on the Uglies actually. It's
I
like
can see that.
Yeah.
I can really
Everything
see
makes
that.
sense now. Yeah.
Newspaper Mama.
newspaper mama every day. Fucking he's a genius. Like that gets his songs would get embedded in your head, and you, yeah. Fucking,
His kids play music in Adelaide. They've got like some band going.
maybe they're the only good Adelaide band.
Yeah, they are now.
We'll get them in touch with the promoter.
Well, fuck, we should play one more show. That's the only show I'll do.
Peter Coombe reunion or John Farnham final lap.
Oh, but in reference to the smash hit "Wish My Life Was Movie," there was a four-way split that was released back in New Zealand called Hardcore Cinema, where every band wrote a song about a movie. If you could write a song about any movie, and I also accept television show, what song would you write?
Oh, that's hard.
Is this one for like everyone?
Yeah, everyone pick something if you want.
Shit.
A Bug's Life.
Great answer! Oh my god!
I don't know if I've ever seen a Bug's Life.
It's sick.
Oh, you have
I personally like Ants more. Than me.
Ants.
Nah, it's good. It's got,
With a Z,
it's got
eh?
Sylvester Stallone in it.
Is it?
Yeah, he's the
Oh,
big
shit.
Barbados, the fucking big ant.
Mate.
Nah, that movie, it's like, I remember watching it when I was a kid, and like the scene where they fight all the termites, it's like fucking grim for a kid movie.
Yeah.
Like they're shooting acid on them and they're just like melting.
Fuck, sick.
The termites are or the ants?
That termites are like spitting acid onto the ants, and the ants are just like melting. It's like this massive like war scene in it. It's very cool.
It's like
That
some
sounds
Starship
sick.
Troopers
I was
shit.
about to
Yeah.
say Starship Troopers, yeah. I think that's my choice, actually.
Starship Troopers?
Yeah, what a fucking movie.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a banger, eh?
That or maybe Super Troopers.
Yeah, anything with troopers in the title. The Mask.
The Mask!
Yeah.
Fuck, yeah, that's very Uglies.
Yeah. Jim Carrey, big influence on the Uglies.
Well, actually, when I was digitising that footage from the Gen, Blake said, wow, it's good to see Jim Carrey as a frontman.
Jim Carrey, Freddie Mercury.
I called you the cable guy this morning. That's pretty funny, actually.
Yeah.
Because of his knowledge of cables.
Not his knowledge of, just how many he has. Yeah.
Sorry, yeah.
That would
Just
be
a bunch of random strings
I'm
that
gonna
you don't
say
know
the-
anything about.
I'm gonna say the Cable Guy would be great to write a song about the Cable Guy. Great. Underrated.
What a thematic meat on the bone in that movie.
Ahead of its time, I reckon. Like, I think it was just way too dark when it came out for people to be like,
It's pretty black.
It is pretty dark for a Jim Carrey movie.
yeah.
Like this guy just sort of aggressively becoming your friend and forcing himself into your life.
He's very clearly like unwell, like he's mentally ill.
Melly, what do you reckon?
Oh, fuck, I don't know.
You haven't been thinking this whole time.
What's your favourite movie?
I hate when people ask you what your favourite thing is.
What's your favorite song? What's your favorite band again?
I don't know. I don't like any bands. It sucks.
I only like operas.
Oh look, I love Rocky and Sylvester Stallone. That's why my dog's named Rocky.
Oh shit.
Yeah. I used to have a chicken named Rocky before I got for the same reason.
It's just the chicken reincarnated into a dog.
Why don't you call Rocky Rambo then? Like if you already had a chicken called Rocky. Why was it?
Because the chicken Rocky had fucked off by the time I got the dog. And Rocky is much better than Rambo.
I thought you
know.
killed the chicken to then get the dog and name it Rocky, so you didn't have to.
When you say the chicken had fucked off, did he just like pop up and leave one day, or did he die?
Well, actually,
chicken
you know
run.
what? You know
Chicken
what?
run. That's
Chicken
chicken
run. The chicken did pop up and leave one day, and I put fucking little signs up around my area saying, "Has anybody seen Rocky the chicken?" Photos of the chicken. And the ABC called me because they were having a really slow. Yeah, they fucking did. A really slow day. Like it was like ABC radio, and they called me up and they were like, "Hi."
This is how fast Adelaide is.
Slow Newsweek in Melbourne.
We saw your chicken sign, and we're wondering, if there's any kind of story there about the chicken, like did you get the chicken back? Is there anything maybe you'd want to tell us about? And I was like, no. actually, you know what? The chicken hopped over the fence, and I went and found it, and the guy was this like old dude that was very much like Mick, who was Rocky's coach. And then we had to chase the chicken, which is what Mick made Rocky do.
And so
to
there's
get
a
the
montage
speed. So
of the
actually, we were
training
running
scene.
around the backyard chasing this fucking chicken. Which, chicken chasing's what they used to do in the old days. And Rocky says, I feel like a fucking... No, he doesn't say fucking.
R-rated cut of Rocky.
Can we insert the scene?
Oh, I will.
Very good. He says, I feel like a Kentucky Fried Idiot. He can't chase the chicken because he's bummed out. His wife's in hospital. And later, he catches the chicken. Anyway,
You call it chicken.
So is this really the end of the Uglies?
Straight up.
Yeah.
No reunions, no returns?
Fuck reunions.
Unless we get asked by like a really good band.
Yeah, a good writer.
Oh, that's the question. Who could get
who
get
would
you
you
in?
reform for?
Yeah.
If you
Oh,
could,
there's-
if you were to come out of retirement,
Devo.
It would be a family.
Devo.
Devo. If
Yeah.
Devo were like, we need a local support and it has to be something completely unlistenable compared to the rest of our set, we're in.
No effects. No, I don't mean that. But yeah, if no effects were like, do you want to play with us? I'd be like, yeah. Fuck yeah, dude. But that's it.
That's it. Have you got any final words of wisdom that you'd like to share?
Nah.
So yeah.
No. Does anyone else?
Smash like and subscribe.
Hit the bell to get notified. Actually, for real though, subscribe to this channel. This is good.
Yeah, less rules.
Cheers. Sick. Well,
Goodbye.
I think that's it, really.
Thank you
If you,
for
guys,
having
if
us.
you guys are happy, I'm happy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Ecstatic.
Shout out to literally everyone in the house tonight. Fuck yeah. Shout out to Content and Vampires, Kmart Warriors. Yeah, you said it.
I only came here to boo them.
Hey, oh, there. Cheers. Good. You like him, it doesn't matter anyway because he broke up. Fuck yeah. I didn't even know this. Thanks everyone. Been a awesome ride.
Es folgen keine Ziele.